We're going to begin on our backs. So if you guys want to settle into your back, lay nice and long with your legs stretched out beneath you. When you get there, scan your body. Feel the weight of the back of your head into the floor. Let your whole body sink into the floor. Let your yoga mat hold you. Feel the weight of your being held by the earth. And take a deep breath in through your nose and a big sigh out through your mouth. Do that one more time. And keep breathing deeply in through your nose, out through your nose. Let your eyes flutter closed and set an intention for the next hour. Let everything else outside of this hour melt away. Imagine whatever happened yesterday or earlier this morning, whatever's coming up in the rest of your Sunday. Imagine those things sitting on clouds and just floating across the sky, getting farther and farther away from your consciousness. Sinking into this hour and dedicating it just to yourself, to your mind, your body, and your healing journey. We're going to begin with a box breath, a nice little breathing exercise where I want you to imagine a square, a box on the inside of your eyelids in the field of vision. And I'll count for us. We're going to breathe in for 4 counts on the upward side. Then we're going to hold it as we trace our vision across that top pane of the box. And then exhale for 4 counts on the opposite down vertical. And then hold it again across the bottom. So breathing in for 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, 3, 4. And hold for 2, 3, 4. Inhale for 2, 3, 4, and hold for 2, 3, 4. Let it go for 2, 3, 4, and hold for 2, 3, 4. Inhale for 2, 3, 4, and hold for 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, and hold for 2, 3, 4. Return your breath to its normal cadence and scan your body and see if that nice pausing allowed you to release anything. The goal for this healing yoga class is to let our tension go, sink into the peace within our hearts, and use that to find strength for healing. So on your next inhale, raise your arms high above your head, stretching your body as long as it can be, reaching your toes down beneath you, imagining yourself like one long piece of string being pulled in opposite directions. On an exhale, trace your fingertips, both of them over to the right, and let your toes creep about 6 inches to the right, like a banana. Feeling a deep opening across the whole left side of your body. Breathing in and out. Inhale and curve back to center. Stretching your arms long, your feet long, trying to make your body as long as it possibly can. Then exhale and stretch over to the left, curving into that banana on the opposite side, feeling the opening all along the right side of your body, through your hips, through your ribs, through your shoulder, all along the inside of the right arm, from fingertips to toes, and breathe here. Inhale and come back to center. And then pick up your knees and hug them into your chest. Give yourself a nice tight squeeze, rolling side to side a couple times, massaging your back. On an exhale, extend your left leg out on the floor beneath you and raise your right leg 90 degrees all the way up to the sky. Point and flex your right toes, pulling them in towards your face and then pushing them out towards the ceiling. And then begin to circle that top ankle. First to the right, and then to the left. Letting all of the blood flow down from your feet, across your knees, into the center of your body, warming you up. Now with an inhale, reach for your ankle with your hands and start to walk your hands up your leg, bringing your upper body into it, maybe feeling a stretch across the back of your hamstring. Exhale and let your back fall back down to the mat. Hug that right knee into your chest and then twist it across your body so that it comes to rest on the left side of the mat. Arms stretch out on either side for a T position. Gaze goes to the right as we settle into a gentle twist here. Like a corkscrew, unwinding our whole body, exhaling and letting everything go. Inhale, come back to center. Give your knee one more deep hug again. And then extend that right leg out to meet the left. Now pick up your left leg and hug it into your chest, giving it a nice deep hug. Right leg is straight out beneath you. And then extend that left leg straight up to the sky, 90 degrees to your body, and start and point and flex that left toe. trying to poke the ceiling with it and then trying to pull it all the way back to your forehead again and again. Circle your top ankle, this time first to the left, feeling all across the ankle, the foot, the toes, and then reverse direction and trace that circle to the right, letting all of the blood, the lymphatic fluid, flow through your leg, nourishing your core. Pause your circle, look up to your toes, and start to walk up that left leg with your hands, reaching up for the ankle, waking up the upper body here, feeling the strength in your core start to build. And then exhale, let it go. Bring your head back to rest on the mat. Bend your left knee, bring it into your chest. Give it one nice hug, and then guide it across your body to come to the right side. Extending arms out in a T, gazing over your left shoulder. Feeling this twist across your whole body, breathing in and breathing out, letting everything go. Inhale and come back to center, hugging your knee into your chest, and then bringing the right knee up so that you have both knees in your chest again. Sway side to side. Give yourself a nice loving hug here, and then begin to rock forward and backward along the length of your spine. Slowly at first and building in momentum until you can rock up and over your butt, coming to hands and knees in a tabletop position. So once you get to tabletop, take a minute to check your alignment. Your knees should be underneath your hips, your wrists underneath your shoulders, your fingers spread nice and wide on the mat. Middle fingers are pointing forward at the top of the mat. Let your toes touch behind you, and then we're going to sink our hips back into a nice deep child's pose. Let the forehead melt on the mat. Let the heart grow heavy. Breathe in and breathe out. Now we're going to start a dynamic child's pose to upward dog, a sequence that we're going to do 3 times. So from your child's pose, look at your fingertips and like a snake, push from your shins. Your body comes forward. Your chest goes towards your hands. Your legs stretch out behind you. And then you push up into your hands for an upward dog. Looking up to the sky, stretching out the whole front of your torso. On an exhale, pick your hips up. Scooch your knees in towards your chest. Let your hips sink back to your feet and let your head fall down back into that child's pose. Resting your forehead on the mat. Heart grows heavy. Inhale, look to those fingers. We're going to slither forward again. Legs grow long beneath us. Belly rests on the mat. Hands are by our shoulders and we push up with an inhale into upward dog. Release any tension in your glutes here. Feel the stretch in the lower back. And then exhale, raise the hips and sink them back into child. Pulling the knees in, the toes touch. Hands stay right where they are, stretched out in front of you. Forehead melts down to the mat, heart grows heavy. Let's do that one more time. So on your inhale, look towards your fingers. Lean forward over your elbows. Let your legs grow long. And then push up into your hands. High upward dog. Weight is on our knees and the front of our thighs. Feel the whole back body open here. And then exhale, lift your hips up and sink back into child's pose. This time, maybe you tent your wrists up on your fingertips. Your hands are stretched out in front of you. And feel how that opens up a little bit deeper across the back of your shoulder blades. Let your heart shine open towards the mat. Breathe into that space where you're holding and try to release just a little bit more. On your next inhale, come back up to tabletop. Check that your hands are under your shoulders. Excuse me. Your hips are under your knees. And we're going to thread the needle. So transferring your weight into your right hand, reach all the way up to the sky with your left hand. Looking with your eyes where your fingertips go, arcing that hand above your head, and with an exhale, scoop it down all the way through the right arm, bringing the left cheek, the left ear to rest on the mat, left shoulder down on the mat, feeling a big opening across the whole left side body. If you feel stable here, you can pick up your right hand, bend at the elbow, and reach for the hip crease behind you for a little bit of a deeper opening across the chest and the shoulders. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then on your inhale, come out of this threaded needle the same way that you went back in. Slowly and deliberately, bringing the right hand back to the mat, unthreading the left hand, reaching it up to the sky, looking to the fingers, and then lowering it back down to the mat. Returning to tabletop, recentering your weight over your hands and your knees. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So transfer your weight into your left hand, and with an inhale, lift your right hand all the way up to the sky, looking with your eyes where your fingertips go. Exhaling and scooping it all the way through that raised left arm. Bringing the right cheek, the right ear to rest on the mat. Feeling this deep opening across the whole shoulder, the whole side body. If you took the extension on the other side, do the same here to keep your body balanced. Picking up the left hand, Let it bend at the elbow behind your torso and reach for the hip crease, the bottom of the waist between the right stomach and the right hip. And breathe in and out. On your next inhale, come out of this threaded needle the same way that you went back in, returning the left hand up to the sky, bringing it back down to the mat, and then slowly unthreading the right hand, pulling it all the way up to the sky, looking for the fingertips before returning it down to the mat. Coming back to your tabletop, letting your toes touch behind you, and sinking back into child's pose one more time. Forehead's resting on the mat. Imagine a weight between your shoulders, pushing your heart down. Imagine your shoulder girdle like a hammock here, letting the whole front of the chest, the front of the heart space open. And now take both hands and start to walk them slowly over to the right, resting the left hand on top of the right hand, sinking the left hip back towards the left heel, feeling a big C curve from the left fingertips all the way back to the left hip. Walk them back to center. Pause here, let the heart hang heavy. And then walk your hands over to the left. Maybe reaching the left side of the mat with the right fingertips. Letting the right hand sit on the left. Sinking the right hip back into the right heel. Feeling the whole right side body open and stretch. Oxygenate and breathe. And then walk your hands back to center. Try one more time to lift your wrists and tent up onto all 10 fingers. Pulling your hips a little bit further back towards your heels. Feel that opening across the back of your shoulder blades, the front of your chest. And then exhale, let the hands go flat. And slowly pull yourself back up into tabletop position. When you get there, check your alignment. Fingers nice and wide, middle fingers pointed towards the very top of the mat. On an inhale, look up to the sky. Let your belly drop down for cow pose. And on an exhale, round your back, drop your head. Crown of the head faces the floor. Forehead looks back towards the hips for cat pose. Inhale for cow, reversing the curvature of the spine. And exhale for cat. I like to imagine a slow motion jump rope when I do these cat-cow. As you inhale for cow, the rope is facing the floor like a big U. And as you exhale for cat, it makes its way back around to a giant rainbow shape. Do one more at your own pace. Coming back to center, tuck your toes under, lean forward with your weight in your hands, engage your belly and lift your knees just 3 inches off the mat. Hold here for a second, feeling the strength in your body, and then with a big exhale, push your hips up to the sky and back into downward dog. Bend your knees here one by one, or maybe bending both knees, pulling your belly in towards your thighs. Feel how that might help you get a straighter line from your hips to your fingertips. Let your head hang down to the mat and breathe. Now on an inhale, look up towards your fingers and walk your hands to the back of your mat to hang in ragdoll. Whole upper body melts down over lower body. Maybe your hands grasp opposite elbows, or you can interlace your fingers underneath the back of your head, guiding a little bit more release into the back of your neck. Exhale and plant those hands down by your feet, and then walk them out to plank and hold for a minute. Feeling the strength of your core, your thighs, your back, holding you up off the earth. Exhaling, bending at the elbows and lowering your whole body down to the mat. Rest your left cheek on the mat. Reach your right arm straight out in front of you, perpendicular to your mat. And then lift up your left knee so that the foot goes towards the sky. And then bend it over your right leg. Bring the sole of the left foot to rest on the floor behind you, twisting your whole body weight over to the right, opening up that right shoulder, opening up the right hip, opening up the core that we just worked in our plank. And exhale, unwind, and come back to center. Pick up your head and switch the direction you're looking so that your right cheek is resting down on the mat. Stretch your left arm out in front of you. Gaze goes to those left fingertips. And then pick up the right foot. Sole goes towards the sky. Left leg is straight out beneath you. With momentum, kick that right foot over, letting your body curl up onto your left hip. Sole of the left foot finds the floor on the sole of the right foot, finds the floor, and you twist over, opening up that whole left shoulder, left torso, left waist. Breathe into the twist and exhale. And then slowly roll back to center. Coming back to your belly. Bring both palms to just under your shoulders. Elbows point up behind your body. Toes curl under beneath you. And however it makes sense, push yourself back into your nice downward dog again. Maybe coming to tabletop on the way. Hips are lifting up to the sky. Weight is distributed across the hands and the feet. Head hangs heavy. Walk your dog, bending your knees. And then inhale, lift your head up, look to your hands, and slowly start to walk your feet up to the top of the mat. Hanging in ragdoll at the top of the mat. Letting everything grow heavy and just hang there. On an inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Hands come up above your head. Palms meet. Look at your hands when they're up there. And then exhale, slowly lower them down in prayer to your heart center. Set an intention here for the rest of your Sunday. And exhale, lower those hands down to your side. Inhale, reach your arms up again. Let your fingers touch at the top. Let your palms come together and stand up as tall as you can. Growing tall and stretching from side to side here. Looking up at your hands. With an exhale, bend at the elbows into goddess arms and take a nice gentle back bend here. Breathing in and then breathing out, bring your whole upper body down into a forward fold over your legs. Hanging in ragdoll. Grasping opposite elbows or maybe interlacing your hands under the base of your spine. Let everything go. On your next inhale, we're going to rise all the way up to stand in mountain pose. Hands meet above our head. Hands lower in prayer to heart center. And then come to rest by the side of our hips. Now you're going to put your hands on your hips and step your right leg back behind you, coming down into a low lunge. Right knee rests on the mat. Right toes untuck. Toenails facing the mat. I'm going to sink into that front left knee. Feel the opening on the right hip. Maybe bring your hands up to your left knee. Make your heart proud. Look up to the sky. Take a little back bend here. And then exhale and bring your left hand to the floor on the inside of your left foot. Palm is lying right next to the foot. Right knee is down on the mat. With the right hand, we're going to slowly open up to the side, guiding that hand all the way up to the sky, opening our whole front body like a book. Arms are wide, but perpendicular to the floor. Looking up to the sky, try to guide your chin towards your right shoulder. Breathe in and exhale, lower back down. Curl your right toes under. Push your right knee back up. And then we're going to lower the right heel to the floor. Turn the left toes to face the right side of the mat. Lift our hips up and come to a nice wide-legged fold. Looking at the right side of our mat, hands are on the floor beneath our feet. Let the whole upper body sink down into this wide-legged fold. Maybe reach with your peace fingers for each big toe if you have that stretch in you. Pulling with your elbows towards your knees for a little bit of a deeper stretch here. Breathing in and out. Now return your hands to your hips and pull your torso up to stand. Roll your shoulders behind you, let your heart grow proud, and then interlace your fingers behind your butt. Pull the palms of your hands together and down, opening up your shoulders, taking a deep breath in here. Exhale and fold down again over the wide legs, letting your interlaced arms float up and over your head, adding a shoulder opener into this wide-legged forward fold. Breathe here and feel your whole body open. Inhale and slowly rise back up, using the strength in your core to bring your body back upright. Let your hands release, and then turn your right toes towards the back of the mat. Left toes turn next, up onto the balls of the feet. Lower the left knee down into a nice low lunge with the right leg forward this time. Left toes are on the floor. Bring your hands up to your right knee. Sink down into that left hip. Look up to the sky and feel that opening across the whole front of the left hip, the left thigh. And then exhale and bring your right hand to the inside of the right foot. Pick up your left hand, pull it towards your shoulder like you're pulling on a bow and arrow, and then extend it up to the sky, looking with your eyes towards your fingertips. One straight line perpendicular to the floor. Chin guided back towards your left shoulder. Feeling this in your hips and your chest, feeling everything open. And then exhale, bring it back down to the floor. Let your right hand go to the outside of the right foot and scooch that right foot over to the left side of the mat, bringing the knee down to the mat. We're going to come into a pigeon pose. So your left foot might want to get a little bit wider, a little bit longer behind you. Your hips are pointed towards the floor. Your right leg is bent in front of you, right shin almost perpendicular to the top of the mat. When you get there, you can lower down to your elbows. Let your head hang down. Release any tension in your left leg. Feel a deep opening across the back of the right glute, the right thigh. The whole right hip is opening here. And then on your next inhale, lean slightly to the right and let your body weight fall onto your right thigh, right side of your seat. And swing the left leg all the way around to the front. Untuck the right foot so that both legs are straight out in front of you. And sit back on your sits bones, those little pointy bones at the top of your butt. We're going to sit up into a boat pose. So lifting both legs up, You can have your knees bent, your shins parallel to the floor. Reach out straight with your arms. Palms face each other on either side of your knees. Chest is proud, spine is straight. For a deeper strengthening move, you can straighten both legs out in front of you and pause here. Exhale, cross at the ankles and roll over into tabletop. This time, pull your left knee up towards the left wrist. Take the left foot and guide it over towards the right side of the mat. Pigeon on the left side. Right leg gets long behind you. Both hip points are pointed down towards the mat at the same level. When you get there, feel a deep opening across the outside of your left glutes, your left thigh, maybe lower down to your elbows. Let the weight of your torso deepen that stretch. Check that you're not holding any tension in your right leg or your left. Just let the folding of your body do the work here. And then slowly let your body weight fall towards your left thigh, your left side of your butt, and bring that right leg around to the front. Both legs straight out in front of you, hands by your hips. Use your hands to scooch your butt out of the way so that you're sitting right on those sits bones. And with an inhale, raise both arms up over your head, meeting at the top. Exhale and forward fold over both straight legs. Let this be a restful forward fold. So don't stretch to reach your toes if that's not where you're at. Let your hands rest on your shins or your ankles. And imagine your forehead falling towards your kneecaps. Lengthening and stretching, letting the body weight do the work to pull you in a folded position here. Inhale, sit back up, and then fold the right knee into a figure four position. Sole of the right foot goes to the inside of the left thigh. Use your left hand to push yourself into a nice straight sit-up position. Check that your torso is over your left leg. And then inhale, reach up to the sky. And exhale, fold down over that left leg. Reaching for the ankle or the toes. Not pulling too much, but just letting the body weight do the work here. Imagining one day your forehead resting on your knee. Inhale, come back up. And then pick up your knee, your right knee. Pick up the right foot, hook it to the outside of the left thigh. Hold the left knee with your left hand. Place your right hand behind your hip and then reach up with that left arm to the sky. Exhale and hook the elbow to the outside of the right knee, twisting behind you. Using the force of your elbow against your knee to twist a little deeper. Guiding the chin over the shoulder, looking behind you, bringing everything out. Exhale, come back to center. Unbend that right leg, send it straight out to meet the left. Place both hands on the mat, fingertips pointed towards the toes, a couple inches behind your hips. And then bend both knees, pull the heels in towards your butt. With an exhale, push into your hands and lift your hips up to the sky for a reverse tabletop. Try letting your head hang down between your shoulders here. Feel this in the shoulders, feel the strength in your legs and your core holding you up. Maybe sway back and forth with weight from the feet to the hands. Exploring where it's sticky and releasing a little more. Exhale, lower down to the mat. Send the right leg out straight. Bend the left knee so that the left sole of the foot is on the inside of the right thigh. Sit up nice and straight, arms above your head on an inhale, and on an exhale, arms reach down for those right toes, right ankle, letting the head fall heavy over the straight right leg. Taking a nice deep stretch here. Inhale, come back up to sit, and then pick up your left bent knee and hook the left sole of the foot to the outside of the right thigh. Place your left hand on the mat behind you for support. Reach up with your right arm to the sky, and then on an exhale, twist to the left. Hook the right elbow to the outside of the left knee and try to look behind you, guiding your chin over your left shoulder. Feeling your whole torso wring everything out here. Inhale, come back to center and come to lie on your back. Let your whole body rest into the mat. Take a deep breath in, let it go. Feel the weight of your head, your hips, your heels sinking into that mat and the earth beneath your body. And then pick up both feet, bending at the knees so that it's almost like you're going to stamp on the ceiling, and reach with your hands for the outside of each of the feet. Come into happy baby. Swaying side to side, maybe kicking into each hand. Feeling where it's sticky, feeling where it's loose. Closing your eyes and returning to that playful state of a baby in a playpen. Just having your own body, your own brain, and nothing else in the world. Exhale and release your legs. Let them fall down to the mat. Let your arms come to your side. And bend each leg out to the side for a reclined butterfly. Soles of the feet come to touch beneath your body. Place one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. And breathe. As you breathe in, you should feel the hand on your heart rise first, and then the hand on your belly. As you exhale, the hand on the belly sinks down first, and then the hand on the heart. This is called ocean breath. Repeat that cycle a couple times at your own pace, and take note of how you're breathing all the way down into the pit of your belly to make both hands rise and fall at their own pace. Too much in our modern life, we only breathe in the top third, from the chest and above. But when we are able to slow down and get ourselves breathing all the way into the belly, we can connect with our life source and find healing calm from deep within our body. It's always there, available to us. When you're ready, you can straighten your legs back out. Let your arms fall to the side. Let your palms reach up to the sky. Settle into your Shavasana. You've made it to the end of this hour-long practice. Honor yourself for that. Give a silent thank you to your psyche for showing up today, for all of the work, the stretching, the strengthening, and the release that you've put into yourself and your soul in this hour. And while you lie in Shavasana with your eyes closed, try to focus just on my voice. I have a section of a book called The Places That Scare You by Pema Chodron that I came across in my reading last night, and I especially wanted to share it with this group. This is on describing the third constant in human existence, which is suffering or dissatisfaction. And Pema writes, "We look for happiness in all the wrong places. The Buddha called this habit mistaking suffering for happiness, like a moth flying into the flame. As we know, moths are not the only ones who will destroy themselves in order to find temporary relief. In terms of how we seek happiness, we are all like the alcoholic who drinks to stop the depression that escalates with every drink, or the junkie who shoots up in order to get relief from the suffering that increases with every fix." A friend who is always on a diet pointed out that this teaching would be easier to follow if our addictions didn't offer temporary relief. Because we experience short-lived satisfaction from them, we keep getting hooked. In repeating our quest for instant gratification, pursuing addictions of all kinds, some seemingly benign, some obviously lethal, we continue to reinforce old patterns of suffering. We strengthen dysfunctional patterns. Thus, we become less and less able to reside with even the most fleeting uneasiness or discomfort. We become habituated to reaching for something to ease the edginess of the moment. What begins as a slight shift of energy, a minor tightening of our stomach, a vague, indefinable feeling that something bad is about to happen, escalates into addiction. This is our way of trying to make life predictable. Because we mistake what always results in suffering for what will bring us happiness, we remain stuck in the repetitious habit of escalating our dissatisfaction. So I read that page probably 3 times when I came across it last night because I feel that that is so what I was doing in my addictions, was going for that short-lived satisfaction and release from that slight vague feeling of something not being right. Maybe it was the social anxiety of my teenage years or the uncertainty of being a young adult. I found those feelings difficult and reeking of suffering. And so I reached for a drink. I reached for something to smoke. And yes, gained a short-lived satisfaction from that feeling, but then suffering afterwards, which turned into a cycle, reinforcing the pattern of trying to escape suffering with something that is only fleeting, thus causing suffering again. And in Buddhism, one of the main goals is to simply accept that suffering is a facet of the human condition and to sit with it and not try to escape it. And yoga is one way of doing that. When we get into our body, when we make time for ourselves, when we tune everything else out and breathe with the moment, breathe with the stretch, send oxygen into places it hasn't been before, we sink into our own suffering, and that slowly strengthens the muscle of being able to do that even when we're not in yoga, when we're in the chaos of our lives. So when you're ready, come back up to sit. That concludes this hour-long Yoga for Healing flow. If you enjoyed this yoga series, I invite you to join me on Sunday mornings when I teach it live over Zoom. My live classes are donation-based and open to all and help you heal from whatever you need to heal from in your life. I hope to see you there. Namaste.